If you spend years building wealth in Europe, real estate, businesses, investments, what I'm about to tell you should genuinely concern you. Because the Europe where you structured everything, it's disappearing. Tax policies are tightening. Surveillance is constantly expanding. And the financial freedom you took for granted is quietly being dismantled. Hey everyone, this is Thyll from Ankova. And today I want to talk to you about something that's happening in Europe. Why 2026 is a year a lot of governments are preparing for, and what a simple, realistic plan B looks like. All right, let's jump in. Let's start with France. Look, it's got beautiful landscapes, amazing wine, incredible food. Things it's generally famous for. But if you're a high earner or you run a business, the numbers are honestly crazy. The top income tax rate is at 45%. And once you add the social charges on top of that, many people end up paying well above 50%. Think about that for a second. Basically, half the year you are actually working for the government. And honestly, France is falling apart. Socially, economically, culturally, it's a complete mess. The government is dealing with a massive budget gap. And every time this happens, guess who feels it the first? You got it right. High earners, business owners, people who actually produce. So, in my opinion, if you live in France and you can work remotely, run your business from anywhere, or you're just thinking long-term about your wealth, you should definitely be paying attention. Tax pressure isn't going to go down. And if anything, it's going to keep going up. Germany is another big one. And actually, this is where my mom is from, so I've watched this one closely. For decades, Germany was the strong, stable engine of Europe. But right now, it's struggling really bad. The economy has basically been flat since 2019, the longest stagnation in over 70 years. Manufacturing got hit really hard when cheap energy disappeared. Production in some industries dropped by 10 to 15%. Export industries are also really struggling. Companies are dealing with higher costs and uncertainty is literally everywhere. And look, Germany has a serious demographic problem. The population is aging faster than almost every major economy, which puts massive pressure on the people who are still working and paying taxes. And about the taxes, well, Germany is already among the highest in the world. Now, on top of all of this, people feel less safe. You've had high-profile violent incidents, and 80% of Germans actually say immigration has been too high. Trust in the government has dropped to 50%, which is the lowest in over a decade. The trend is clear. It's becoming a more expensive, more uncertain place to live and invest. And that's not reversing anytime soon. The UK is also going through some big changes. The old non-dom regime, the one that actually attracted the wealthy people for decades, is slowly being phased out and replaced with a new residency-based system. There are also ongoing discussions about possible changes to capital gains tax and inheritance tax rules. Nothing major has been approved yet, but this is actually showing you the general direction policymakers are looking at. The UK is also considering what's being described as an exit tax. This is a proposal to charge around 20% on gains from certain assets when someone leaves the UK while still holding them. Right now, people can move abroad and then sell those assets without paying UK capital gains tax. But under this idea, the gains you built up while living in the UK would be taxed as if you would have sold the assets on the day you left, which is crazy. This is only a proposal at this stage, not a law. But it clearly shows the kind of measures being discussed. And, well, then there is the move towards a national digital ID system. So the government presents it as a convenience and a way to streamline access to services. But once everything is tied into a single digital profile, it'll give the state more oversight and more control than ever before. So look, I'm not saying leave the UK, but here's the thing, you should definitely pay attention to where things are heading. Look, people love the Nordics, and honestly, I get it. They're clean, safe, well-run countries. But from a practical point of view, the tax pressure is enormous. You work hard, you contribute a lot. And because these countries are also facing aging populations, I think it's fair to expect that taxes won't just suddenly drop. So for people who actually want more flexibility, especially financially, it's not always the easiest region. So let's talk about 2026, because this is important. A lot of reporting rules will kick in. The EU has new financial reporting standards. Crypto reporting has become much stricter. Countries like France and Germany enter new tax cycles, and the UK continues developing its digital ID system. So I'm not saying it's all bad, but things are getting tighter. More rules, more tracking, more pressure. And look, when that's the direction things are heading, it just makes sense to have options, right? Let's talk about what a real plan B actually means. A plan B doesn't mean you're leaving your home country tomorrow. It just means you're not stuck. It means you have a safety net if taxes go up, if rules change, or if things get unstable. This means having one more residency you can use if needed, a path to a second citizenship, a banking setup outside your home country, and a place where you can live legally with lower taxes if things get worse. That's it. The UAE, especially Dubai and Abu Dhabi, is, or are, honestly, one of the strongest options right now. First of all, there is no personal income tax, which, in my opinion, is huge if you want to keep more of what you actually make a month. The tax system is simple and predictable. No surprises, no complicated filings. The government actively welcomes entrepreneurs and investors. So setting up a business is very straightforward, and there are a variety of options for residency linked to businesses, investments, or property ownership. For example, the 10-year Golden Visa is available for investors, entrepreneurs, and skilled professionals. It gives you long-term stability and allows you to bring your family. Other residency options exist if you, for example, buy a property above a certain value or invest in certain sectors. Now, banking in the UAE is excellent. There are international standard banks with multi-currency accounts, online access, and a very easy international transfers. So you can open accounts as a resident or company owner, which makes it very easy to manage both personal and business finances. Look, in my opinion, the UAE right now is really one of the best places to have as a plan B. Look, the quality of life here is great. They have world-class healthcare, great schools, and the cities are very modern. It's safe, politically stable, and crime almost doesn't exist, which I think is something a lot of people overlook. So travel is easy too. And for example, for long-term residents, if they're very, very high profile, there's even the potential to get a UAE passport. Honestly, it just makes life easier. And it's more flexible if you want to live internationally without a lot of stress. And look, then there is the Caribbean, which honestly is still the main hub for citizenship by investment programs. Countries like St. Kitts, Dominica, Grenada, Antigua and Barbuda, and St. Lucia let you get citizenship through structured investments. And look, most of these passports give you visa-free access to over 140 countries. They actually also don't tax your worldwide income, which is something a lot of people don't really realize. And now there are also newer programs popping up, like Sao Tome and Principe, and Botswana, which is planning its own program in 2026. So, look, just having one Caribbean passport as plan of your plan B is, in my opinion, a really smart move. Mauritius is often overlooked, but I think it's a really smart plan B. Listen, I've lived there for more than 3 years. It's calm, it's stable, English and French speaking, and has a very simple, low tax system, no tax on worldwide income. Actually, the personal income tax was only around 15%. Residency is straightforward through investment or property. And banking is solid with international standard accounts. The lifestyle is very relaxed, but modern, with beautiful beaches and good healthcare. I have personal experience in the healthcare because I had to make a surgery on my knee. So for the right person, it's safe, private, low tax base that actually will give you real flexibility. And listen, this is the part almost nobody talks about. It's not only about tax. The world is moving toward more reporting, more oversight, more transparency. Whether we like it or not, it's happening. If you know where your tax resident, where your assets sit, what your options are, and where you can legally move if you need to, you're in control. If you wait until 2026 to start, you are already late. These things take time. Residency applications, bank accounts, even moving your tax residency. None of this happens overnight. I'm not saying Europe is falling apart, even though it kind of is. I'm saying it's changing. And look, the direction is clear. More taxes, more rules, more reporting, more control. You can hope it reverses, or you can actually prepare your plan B. A real plan B that actually gives you choices. And in the world we're moving into, having a choice is honestly the biggest advantage that you can give yourself. Now, if you want help choosing a country, setting up a residency, or getting a second citizenship, reach out to us. This is literally what we help people do every single day. And tell me in the comments, which country do you personally see as your plan B? Thank you for watching, and see you in the next episode.